Hello again. On this second video, we're going to do something different, and we're going to divide the surface and try to learn other features of this Toposolid thing. Okay, so let's click on Toposolid, and I'm going to try from the top view. I'm going to create another rectangle here, and I click OK. So that's my Toposolid. Now I want to create like a pyramid. Okay, so I'm going to create a pyramid. So I'm on level 1. So from the top view, I want to add points. And by adding points, well, let's first try 0 elevation. So I'm going to create like a rectangle here, another rectangle. And let's do this. So apparently nothing has changed. Why? Because those points had a 0 elevation over level 1, but they are there. Okay, so if I modify this, I see that I can change the elevation. I can see those points, and I can change the elevation. If I type 50 feet for each point, this one, 2, 50, and this one. But 50. Okay, so when I click modify again, I see that there's a pyramid. And I can keep working. If I select this again and I modify this, I can select those dots and I can move them down or up, and I create something different. And every time I select the top surface and I modify the sub elements, then I can move it down and I can create a different shape. In addition, I can always change the sketch. Remember that if I delete this one and I use spline to create a different sketch like this, so it will change. What if now we want to create like a long and winding road going to the top of this mountain? We can do this way. We can select again the Toposolid and we can subdivide. Okay, so if I subdivide and I use a spline from this point, so imagine that I want to create a row like this. And now if this is a road, we can offset. And let's say this is 1 foot, say 6 feet. And I offset this in this direction. Then I have to close this shape. So I can keep adding another line here. And finally, we have to close that shape here. And we want this option, create tangent curves. And it's very nice, especially if we want smooth transitions between curves. Okay, so I can do this. I select it. And there you go. So we have a road there. But you see what it does? It elevates. So that's a new element and I can delete it. Okay, I don't want to, but I can delete it. But it's something that stands out from the topography. And for example, there is no way if I wanted to be at the same level of the topography, in this height, I can't type 0 because it has to be a positive value. So the best I can do is to type 0, and here I can type 0.25. And then it will be something very thin, but it will be a different element. And with this, if I go to shade it, you see that there's a different material, and I can select this and create a new material for this element. What happens if I change the elevation points? If I modify these elements and I modify this point here, what happens? Will the profile adapt to this? Let's find out. Apparently it does. Okay, so it's quite good. It's a good option. So this is what we had with in Revit 23, there was an option like this, but you didn't have to change the height or the elevation of this new shape that you have created in Revit 23. Here you have to change the elevation, but it has to be a positive number. If you want something that clearly stands out from the original shape, we can type 10 feet, and yeah, we can have something like that. Usually, if we want a road or a path, it will be something that doesn't stand out. Finally, how can we deal with building paths? Well, we don't have this option in Topo surface. We don't have the option of building path. What we have is the architecture component model in place. So we can create the same family, the Toposolid. And what if I want to create a building path? Imagine that I want a building here. I have to use a void. Okay, so if I use a void and I just create a rectangle like this, what have I done? If I go to wireframe, you see that I have created a void. So if I make sure that the void cuts the topography, okay, now I can finish the model, and we have this. We have to use the cut geometry tool. The cut geometry is this one. So you can cut. First, select the topography. Second, you select the void and select the finish model. And we have created, you remember that we don't have a building path, but we have a void there. We go to shade it. You see that we have created a void element there. Can we change the void? Yes, we can. But we can't select the topography. We have to select the void itself. You see that here, I have selected the Toposolid, but just the void, and then I can edit in place. So if I edit in place, I can edit the extrusion, well, and I can change the shape of this thing, or even by selecting it here, I can change it too. So I can create like a flat, and then I can place my building there on this flat thing. To do that, I would like to change the level. So on wireframe, imagine that I want a new level, and this level, let's copy that level and let's make it 18. Okay, so that's level 18. And I want this void to be at level 18. Then I can select this, I can select filter. I have two toposolids, you see? That's why we have the topography itself, the mountain, and then I have the void. If I want to select just the void, if you press tab, so here we are selecting the void. We edit in place, we select it again, and then we can move it up to this level 18, and we can finish model here. Okay, so this is those are the features that we don't have in Revit 24. We had in Revit 23, but we can do something similar, but we have to use the void. And here we have to use the option subdivide.